Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM and 92.7. My name is Beatrice Edu. The news is also live on Casmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Deputy AG rejects GBA's vacation court claim, says GBA cannot dictate court proceedings. Also on the program this afternoon, Accra High Court declines a letter by lawyers in the 291 million Ghana cedi National Petroleum Authority theft case involving former CEO Dr Mustapha Abdul-Hamid and 7 others. Much later on the program, a network of persons living with HIV in Ghana, NAP Plus Ghana demands urgent clearance of ARVS. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. The Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Remsai, has rejected the Ghana Bar Association's position that lawyers cannot be compelled to appear before court during a vacation. The GBA, in a letter to the Chief Justice, argued that the legal vacation running from August 1 to September 30 is intended to give judges, lawyers and court staff a break, with vacation courts traditionally handling only urgent or interlocutory matters. But Dr. Shremsai says the position is not supported by law, rules, practice or optional reason. He argues that the authority to determine whether substantive proceedings continue during the legal vacation rests with the bench, not the bar. Now, the Deputy AG also disputes the GBA's claim that lawyers' willingness or availability has always been the overriding consideration in proceedings before a vacation judge. His response follows concerns raised by law firms over notices requiring to appear before judges authorized to continue hearing part-heard criminal cases during the vacation. Meanwhile, the Chief Justice has been justifying the decision to make provision for the specific cases in question. He was speaking at the second quadrennial Delegate Congress of the Senior Staff Association of the Judicial Service of Ghana in Sunyani, Bono region.
So why should the Chief Justice to say that the cases should not be adjourned to the vacation? So I am not coming. I have already made arrangements outside, so I'm not coming. You are a lawyer. You have your clients. If your clients decide to leave, you leave. Well, go on leave. But you cannot say that there's a legal vacation and the judge who is actually sitting cannot do your case. No, that's not it. And then adjournments are not at the instance of the Chief Justice. An adjournment is a judicial act. This is something that is so basic that sometimes when people write that I wrote a letter saying that I should withdraw the directive and also direct that the cases should be heard in the third time. I said, you went to court and the judge decided that she was granting you.
And you heard there the Chief Justice, Justice Bafuboni there speaking at that program. I'm joined in the studio now by my colleague Wisdom Safo, who is with our research desk. Wisdom, first of all, just tell us what the statements, as in from the Deputy AG and that of the GBA say.
Okay, so to understand this, we have to first set the premise. So there were cases that were scheduled within a period where the Ghana Bar Association, or we had a judicial leave, so they were on a vacation, right? So there were petitions by the lead counsel of those defendants of those cases, and the counsel was with Zoe Achia and Co. Company, Dami and Partners, and Samukujeto, and they were the lawyers for Abdul Hanan and Kwabena Edubuahin's case. So they wrote a petition to the Chief Justice, right, that we can't have sitting or trial during legal vacation. So the GBA backed the petition that they sent in a release yesterday. So let me quickly read some part of the release by the GBA. So they cited CI 47. The High Court's vacation runs from 1st August to 30th September and says that vacation of courts, both physical and virtual, are meant only for emergencies, never trials. So if they are on vacations, if there is a call that has to be made, it should be an emergency trial. And they also argue that lawyers cannot be compelled to appear during vacation, and courts cannot proceed if counsels are also unavailable. And they also want that pushing ahead will smack of biases or selective justice. And it closes with confidence that the petitions will be considered favorably, and argues that judicial and respect and vacation should be respected, as it has been a standing tradition. But the AG disagrees. So in a press release today, realized that the deputy AG made some claims, right? He also had some position. He said that contrary to the GBA's president claim, the power to decide whether to take proceedings on the substance of a case during a legal vacation is for the bench, meaning for judges, not for the bar, not lawyers. So this has always been the case in Ghana, according to the Deputy AG, as we have known it. It is the Chief Justice who determines when and where a court should work. She was referring to the GBA president, says she may, as we have come to know it, upon a warrant, determine and direct that a judge should sit even on weekends. So the Deputy AG is saying that the prerogative to decide, right, whether a case should be heard should be left to the Chief Justice. And the PTAG also argues that what the GBA president's position in her letter to Honorable Chief Justice seek to do is grave, and it moves the power to manage and control court proceedings and to do justice from the hands of the judge into the hands of a lawyer. So he says that justice is in the hands of a judge, not that of a lawyer. And this has a severe and far-reaching policy implication for justice administration in Ghana. And also the last one, he said that now a lawyer who wishes to take a rest during legal vacations knows exactly what he should do. He attends proceedings and make a plea to the judge for accommodation, and that the judge will in turn consider the plea and, in the interest of justice, either grant the request or refuse it altogether.
Thank you very much, Wisdom Safo. He's my colleague on the research desk. Let's get a quick thought of Mr. Christian Mamhesi. He's a private legal practitioner. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me.
I wonder where you stand. Yes, I wonder where you stand on this. Is it a GBA right, or perhaps the lawyers also have a case?
Yes, I mean, I believe the lawyers have a point, and definitely the Chief Justice also has a point. But the Chief Justice's point is administrative, and it is rooted under CI 47 order 79 Rule 1. And if you look at Rule 1, it says that subject to the Court Act as amended, the Chief Justice may appoint any day, including vacation, for the hearing of causes or matter, or as it may be. And also, it has the powers to deal with matters or cause matters to be heard during vacations in respect of emergency cases or other matters. So clearly, the Chief Justice has the power to do all of these things. While that is so, this is also in a context that legal vacation normally is where the bar gets its leave, or it seeks to have leave in order to rest, because one had worked throughout the legal year, and that is the only time that the lawyer rests. And in practice, what normally happens is that the court would take whether or not the lawyer would be available. Some people take medical leave, others take just a normal time to go and rest off and cool off and come back in October. So normally the court would engage the lawyer to find out, especially if the court would sit throughout the vacation. So where probably the court wants to expedite a matter on a particular trial, because probably had dragged and all of that, yes, then the bench would engage the bar and agree on some dates during the vacation within which to carry through. Now, if the lawyer, either of the lawyers will not be available, then the bench would intimate to the bar that then would let's take a date next term so that the matter would be heard. So I believe this should be one of consultative arrangements between the bench and the bar as far as this particular case is concerned. But this whole issue, the dichotomy and causing as if there is apathy between what the position should be between matters during the legal vacation and that which relates to the bench and the bar has long been settled through practice, convention, and tradition.
Is this a precedent, though? I mean, people talk about the Quality Green case, for instance.
Yeah, so you realize that in the Quality Green case, for instance, there was a consultative endeavor, and the bench did not say that it is a must compulsorily appear before and but there was consultation. That's why I mentioned that the Chief Justice has that administrative right to do that, and also enjoin under Order 79 Rule 1 and 2 to have that done. But save that is so, there must be a consultation between the bench and the bar in order to have the trial come off, whether during the legal vacation or in the new legal year, which starts from October.
And I know you've considered what the GBA is saying as well as what the legal quote-unquote authority is saying as well. But what are your general thoughts about the justifications from the CJ beyond what you said?
I mean, CJ's justifications would, like I had earlier submitted, his justifications would basically be rooted in the rules I mentioned, per the CI, and he will not go beyond that. But like I said, in such situations, it is not one of entrenched positions, because what would happen is that if the lawyers are also arguing from positional bargaining point of view, then are we saying that the clients should be left to go and defend themselves? No, that would also cause injustice, because the layperson cannot glean from the pleadings and witness statements and cross-examine and do all those things. So that would also affect justice delivery, because at the end of the day, I believe that the Lord Chief Justice is looking at quality of justice delivery as far as this particular trial is concerned. So there must be a consultation, especially because it's legal vacation. Now, I've also heard the argument that, yes, the Chief Justice can order courts to sit during weekends and all that. But all those ones is during the legal year. So during the legal year, you, the lawyer, you are enjoined to work throughout, because justice must at all times happen. And the reason why courts sit during legal vacation is to make sure that justice does not come to a halt, and that at all times there's a court to hear interlocutory applications, and at the lower court to also hear matters. That's why at the lower court, the monetary jurisdiction and other things were enhanced so that they would absorb some of the congested cases from which hitherto would have gone to the High Court to come to the circuit court to be dealt with. And the same thing which would have gone to circuit court. Now, the district court can deal with some of those things because of the enhanced jurisdiction. So this whole thing should be one of consultation, which has long been settled through practice and tradition and convention as well. It shouldn't be a problem that should be tackled over media and all of that.
Thank you very much, lawyer, for speaking to us. And you had Christian Mamhesi. He is a lawyer, a private legal practitioner. We stay at the court because the Accra High Court has declined a letter by lawyers of the 4th, 5th, 7th and 8th accused persons in the 291 million National Petroleum Authority Ghana Cedi theft case involving former CEO Dr Mustapha Abdul-Hamid and 7 others. The lawyers were seeking an adjournment of the trial pending the determination of the petition to the Chief Justice to stop trials during the legal vacation. Joseph Penka is lawyer for the former NPA CEO Mustapha Abdul-Hamid.
In absolute respect to the court, because unless adjourned it, we agreed to meet today to continue with CMC. However, as a result of certain circumstances, we were anticipating that the case would be adjourned to October. Because, of course, counsel for A1, my good self and my team, and then A2, A3, and the other accused persons were all present, except counsel for A4, A5, A7, and A8, who had traveled outside the country and written to the court asking for an adjournment to October. But same was rejected by the court, and the case has been adjourned to the 18th for us to continue with CMC. Well, we had written to the CJ, we petitioned the CJ that we had prior commitments. As a result of the vacation, we anticipated some had commitments here in the country and outside of the country. And we have petitioned the CJ, but there's no reply to that effect yet. So while we await that, the Honorable Court was right in its wisdom to say that until the determination is made by the CJ rejecting or accepting the request to adjourn to October.
And you had Joseph Kanka. He's the lawyer for the former NPA CEO, Mustapha Abdul-Hamid. Let's speak to Lord Edwasari. He's our court affairs correspondent. Lord, what more can you tell us?
Right, Beatrice, and so today the business of the day was for the case management conference of the NPA trial involving the former CEO Mustapha Abdul-Hamid. Now, they communicated to the court that 2 of the accused persons' lawyers were out of the jurisdiction. They had planned their trip way before the legal vacation, and so they were seeking an adjournment to October for continuation of the case. They actually presented flight tickets, among other documentation, to prove that they were actually out of the jurisdiction. And then they also cited the fact that they had petitioned the Chief Justice for cases being heard, for which case DS is involved, to be heard during the legal vacation, to be postponed to October because of the unavailability of those lawyers of the accused person. So apart from the lawyers of the 4th, 5th, 7th, and 8th accused persons, Dr. Mustapha Abdul-Hamid himself was present, the 2nd and 3rd, and then were also present in court. Now, after making that prayer to the presiding judge, the judge indicated that for as long as he still has the warrant, which has been issued by the Chief Justice, he cannot adjourn the case to October like they are praying. But Joseph Pemka, the lead counsel for Mustapha Hamid, again prayed to the court that although the case is for CMC, there are certain documentations that are quite voluminous if they are to go through, and so hearing the case today will not really suffice and help the defense. And so he again prays for an adjournment to be able to peruse the documents that the Office of the Special Prosecutor had, as it were, filed. Now, this was granted by the court, and so the case has been adjourned to 18th August rather than the October that they were praying the court to hear. So essentially, the letter which was seeking the court to adjourn the case to October was refused by the High Court because the judge indicated that he still has a warrant which was issued by the Chief Justice to sit in the cases. Now, he, however, indicated that in the event that the Chief Justice determines
All right, thank you very much, Lord Edwasari. We do apologize for the line, and you're still here on the Midday News on Shri FM 92.7. Now, authorities in Burkina Faso are expected to spill excess water from the Bagri Dam. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has therefore issued an urgent notice to residents along the White Volta to relocate immediately to higher grounds to avoid disaster. The spillage causes widespread flooding, displacing families, destroying homes, farmlands and infrastructure. Some farmers have also started harvesting their crops earlier than time to avoid total loss. Let's speak to Solomon Kanawule. He's our correspondent there. He brings us some updates from there. Solomon, just tell us more about what is currently happening.
All right, so as announced that today the Bagri Dam will be sealed off, residents in the northeast region, especially the Asante areas and then Mampurugu, Muaduri areas, they were eagerly awaiting for today. And just yesterday, the news coming in says that the seal-off will not take effect today as announced. Earlier reports from the Northeast Regional NADMO Director indicates that the water level hasn't gotten to where they will spill it off, though it was announced to just few people within the region. As I talked to you, I visited a few communities who said they are not aware of the change of date, despite the fact that they are well prepared ahead of today. The concerns of these farmers has to do with the fact that their crops are not yet matured. And so whether it comes today or any day at all within August, they have nothing to harvest. And that is their worry as of now.
All right, thank you very much. And you heard the Solomon Kanawule. He is a correspondent in the northern parts of the country where, of course, we're expecting the spilling of the Bagri Dam. And he was just bringing us an update earlier. And the network of persons living with HIV in Ghana, NAPLUS, Ghana, is calling on the government to immediately clear donor-funded HIV medicines, including another one which is ARV based, currently awaiting a clearance at the port. The group says shortages at health facilities are forcing some patients to ration their medication, warning that interruptions to HIV treatment could undermine viral suppression and put lives at risk. Here is Rhoda Kofi, a person living with HIV. She spoke to 3FM earlier.
It's unfortunate we have to come back to this particular conversation at this hour because early this year, personally, I'm on medication, so I have to go for my medication from time to time. So I was scheduled to go for my medication around March. When I went to the facility, I was given some medication that was having a very short shelf life. It was just some few months to expiring. That was in March, and the expiry date was in July. So my health practitioner had to tell me to come back in 3 months' time. I should go and take the medication. I had just 3 months to expire, and it was a bottle of 180 months dispense. So I have to take it and return back to the facility in 3 months' time. In 3 months' time, we went to the facility, and then the medication has to be rationed. You have to be given 2 weeks, 1 week medication. We asked and were told they still don't have medication. And this 1 week, 2 weeks medication you are even receiving, you don't even know the container they are picking it up from, whether it's still the expiries they are giving us or is the new medication that is out. We try following up to the programs and other facilities in the regions, and the ALT in charges, the medical stores, they are all telling us they don't have medication. Meanwhile, from the CCM engagement we have as a CCM member, we realize the medication has been purchased by Global Fund, and it's at the port. It is currently at the port and has not been cleared. So what is Ghana waiting for? Once we need the medication in the facilities, currently Kolebu don't have even PrEP that is used for prevention. Telolami that is even used for prevention is totally out of stock. That one, they are not even rationing it. So it means we are not preventing.
And you heard that Rhoda Kofi, she is a person living with HIV. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health says it is working to reduce the bureaucracy to have the medication in time. Tony Goodman is spokesperson for the Ministry of Health.
The way it works is that you would do the procurement through the various funders, like the Global Fund and the rest. It goes through a process. It's consigned in the name of the Ministry of Health, and then it's cleared. It is that period, the period it arrives, and then the process is going through finance, waiver here and there. It's that process that delays a bit. But yes, we acknowledge that, yes, we need to have it in country before this one runs out. But we are working on that to reduce the bureaucracy so that we can have it in time. It's just unfortunate that this came just recently, and then there is no medication, so that has drawn this public attention. But it will be worked on. It is a bureaucracy of things, the way we have to go through various processes to clear them, I'm sure.
And you heard that Tony Goodman, he speaks for the Ministry of Health. From our homes, market, shops and offices, Ghana produces enough waste every day to fill close to 800 fully loaded 20-foot shipping containers. And every morning, another 800 containers worth of waste is added to the pile. But once the bin is emptied or the rubbish is taken away, where does it actually go? In some parts of the country, it is collected. In others, families carry it to open dumping site, burn it, or simply dispose of it wherever they can. And even in Greater Accra region, where collection is highest, the waste problem remains difficult to miss. So what really happens to the rubbish where we throw away? Let's speak to Wisdom again. He joins me once again in studio. Wisdom, what have you gathered?
So I was digging through the waste figures over the last week, and this is actually a drive that the research desk is embarking on, right? So we realized that Ghana generates over 8 million tons of waste annually, and you did the math very perfectly. You realize that if you divide it across the 365 days, we are generating about 800 shipping containers, 20 feet containers worth of waste every single day. And it's even projected to reach about 20 million tons a year, which is equivalent to 2,000 shipping containers, 20 feet containers every single day, if nothing is done about it. So what are we actually throwing away? Let's segregate the components of all our entire rubbish or refuse waste that we produce. About 54% of them is organic. Organic means they are biodegradable. They can decay, they can be turned into compost and all. And there's a missing opportunity there. What is happening? And there's a climate change conversation as well. You know that waste also generates methane, right? Mm-hmm. And methane has a high GWP, meaning a higher global warming potential, and a higher carbon equivalent, meaning it's able to warm the planet. So there's a climate change conversation as well. If we are not turning our organic waste into useful products such as fertilizers and all, or biomass and all, then there's a challenge. And about 16% of that waste we generate is plastic. And you know, I was looking through the UNDP data. We have 840,000 tons of plastic produced annually in Ghana. So if you are not recycling this plastic, and you know what? All these 840,000, about only 9.5 of them is being recycled and all. Then we have 30% others, which are metal and bottles as well. We have the rural-urban divide when it comes to collection, right? There's a huge gap when it comes to collection in the rural-urban divide, 51.4 for the urban and 5.8 for the rural. And this is where it hits the most, right? Greater Accra has the highest collection, which is 69.8% of its households, meaning that if you take about 10 households, 7 of them collect and dispose of their waste properly. But it's not only about the percentage, it's about the quantum. Look at the population or the size of Greater Accra.
And at the end of the day, the conversation is how do we take advantage of the waste to make money?
Yes,
just so it doesn't.
Indeed. There's an opportunity. Recycling, decomposition, and all. There's a whole circular economy around that.
We'll have to continue that conversation later. Thank you very much, Wisdom Safo. And he's with our research desk. Coming up shortly is Business Daily with Michael Obudu. My name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Log on to shrinews.com for more news.
92.7 Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSE, reveals that Accra Energy bribery saga exposes value for money concerns in Ghana's power purchase agreements.
Supposed to ensure value for money or maybe promote check and balances with respect to some of these contracts. That's the Parliament of Ghana renege on its responsibility.
And Association of Ghana Industries AGI President urges SME to tap into the 24-hour economy opportunity. Plus, Social Security and National Insurance Trust NIT assures pension scheme sustainability and targets asset doubling. I am Michael Obudu. Details of these and many other stories lined up for you. Do stay tuned. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. And the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSE, says the alleged Accra Energy bribe saga highlights serious concerns over value for money in Ghana's power purchase agreements. Executive Director of SEMSE, Benjamin Isia, said the developments suggest that in many cases, Ghana may not be receiving adequate value for the money committed under some power contracts. Ghana has entered into several PPAs over the years to secure electricity generation capacity and meet growing energy demand. However, concerns over the cost and terms of some agreements have fueled calls for greater transparency, scrutiny, and value for money assessments in the power sector.
But the revelation at the U.S. court exposes our weakness in guarding the interest of the state in some of these contracts signed by IPPs. And what it simply signifies is that in most of the cases there is no value for money, and the authority or institution that was supposed to ensure value for money or maybe promote check and balances with respect to some of these contracts, that's the Parliament of Ghana renege on its responsibility to stand instead of the good people of Ghana. And I think it should be a matter of worry and a matter of concern, especially at the time that we continue to pay higher tariffs due to some of these over-bloated and overestimated power purchase agreements.
So that was Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSE, Benjamin Nsia. Now, the President of the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, Kofi Nsia-Poku, has called on SMEs to position themselves to benefit from government's 24-hour economy. Speaking on the sidelines of a training session for SMEs in the Western and Central regions in Takoradi, he disclosed that his outfit is working closely with the Secretariat to benefit members. Irama Smith has more.
The training on bookkeeping and corporate governance is to strengthen the financial and operational capacity of SMEs by equipping participants with the necessary skills to maintain accurate financial records, separate personal and business finances, and implement sound corporate governance structures. Many SMEs are unable to access funding because of poor bookkeeping and corporate governance structures. AGI President Kofi Nsia-Poku disclosed that their aim was to enable them take advantage of the 24-hour economy to better their businesses.
So we are working hard with government to make sure that there are policies that will support or give a good environment for these small businesses to grow. We all started in the same manner. I started manufacturing medicine from my father's garage 35 years back.
This is the fifth of the training sessions that has been organized by the AGI across the country.
To some more stories now, the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, has sought to allay concerns over the sustainability of the pension scheme, saying it is on course to double the value of its assets from the 2024 level. SNIT increased the value of its asset by more than 8 billion cedis last year from about 20 billion cedis in 2024. Speaking to 3 Business on the sidelines of a meeting between SNIT management and the Board of Trustees, Director General Kwesi Afrɛ-Baini said the scheme has already surpassed its growth recorded last year.
Three things: better contribution collection from employers and from government. And like I said, government ended 2025 without owing any single month of contributions in 2025. Our returns on investment, you also saw the growth. So the real returns on investment for last year was in excess of 10%. That clearly helped shore up the numbers. And then lastly, we've had a very positive year on the stock exchange. Our stock exchange performance has also been super good. These 3 variables account for the 8 billion growth that you saw.
Do you see the prospects of repeating that feat this year?
Absolutely. Let me give you some insight. At end of June, assets under management was close to 36 billion. So it had grown from the 28 billion plus that you saw end of December to close to 36 billion. Our total assets now is about 38 billion, but the assets under management that's available for benefits is currently almost 36 billion. We are confident that we should end the year possibly around 40 billion. And if we achieve that, we would have doubled in 2, meaning from 2024, it was 20.4. Our goal is to end this year around 40 billion. If we achieve that, we would have doubled in 2.
So that was Kwesi Afrɛ-Baini. He is the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, rather. Now, to some more stories, the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Pandit Esiama has cautioned economic managers against complacency despite encouraging progress in Ghana's economic management, warning that global uncertainties could still pose risk to the country's stability. Speaking at a stakeholders engagement in Sunyani, Dr. Esiama said developments beyond Ghana's borders could continue to affect the domestic economy, requiring authorities to remain focused on protecting the value of the city, keeping inflation low, and safeguarding financial stability. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details.
According to the governor, the strong performance of the 2 commodities contributed to the higher trade surplus during the first half of the year. Dr. Esiama said The bank's objective was to create a stable economic environment that would enable businesses to expand with confidence, allow households to plan for the future, and ensure that Ghanaians benefited from sustained economic growth. He also said Ghana's external sector had remained resilient, supported by strong export performance in gold and cocoa. He noted, however, that higher global oil prices had increased the country's import bill. Despite the pressure, Ghana's foreign exchange reserves remain strong at about $12.9 billion, equivalent to roughly 5 months of import cover. On the cedi, the governor said the currency came under the pressure earlier in the year amid global developments, including the conflict in the Middle East, but had since recovered. He assured stakeholders that the Bank of Ghana remained committed to maintaining an orderly and well-functioning foreign exchange market as it continued to monitor developments in the global and domestic economy. Dr. Esiame's comment come after the central bank seeks to consolidate recent gains in macroeconomic stability while guarding against external shocks that could undermine the progress made so far.
Well, on that note, that's how we end today's edition of Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more stories, kindly check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for tuning in. As always, please stay safe.